All right, good morning, friends. So I have a book for you today. It's a great book, and it's a book that I love to read in the springtime because it's about weather. Now, this week, the friends in my room did a Zoom lesson on the weather, and they became weather watchers. I'm going to see if we can get that Mystery Science link up for you to watch in Dojo. So I hope you get to do that. So here's the story we're going to do today, and the name of the story is called Thundercake. This story was written by Patricia Polacco, who's a famous author who has written lots and lots of different stories. Now, before I read it, I want you to think for a minute. What do you think a thunder cake is? So think in your head, think pair share with someone in your family, think and figure out what a thunder cake is. And at the end of the story, I want you to think back and see if you were right. So here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Thundercake by Patricia Polacco. On hot, sultry days in Grandma's farm in Michigan, the air goes damp and the heavy storm clouds fill the fields and move closer. Birds fly close to the ground. The clouds glow for an instant when a sharp crackling light and a roaring low tumbling sound of thunder make the windows shudder in their panes. The sound seems to scare me when I was little. I loved to go to Grandma's house, Babushka as I used to call her. She had come from Russia years before, but I feared Michigan summer storms. I feared the sound of thunder more than anything else in the world, and I always hid under the bed when the storms moved closer to the farmhouse. This is the story of how my grandma, my babushka, helped me overcome my fear of thunderstorms. This is a true story, friends. The author Patricia Polacco is telling about when she was a little girl. This was her real grandmother, and this is her story. Grandma looked at the horizon, drew a deep breath, and said, "This is Thundercake baking weather. All right, it looks like a storm is coming straight at us." And you can see their farm looks much older than what we would see today. She has her goats and her geese and her chickens outside. "Child, you come out from under that bed. It's only thunder you're hearing," my grandma said. And there you can see little Patricia under her bed with her feet sticking out. She is very afraid. The air was hot, heavy, and damp. A bolt of thunder, or a cloud clap of thunder, shook the house, rattling the windows, and made me grab her close. "Steady, child," she said. "Unless you let go of me, we won't be able to make a thunder cake today." "Thunder cake," I stammered and hugged her close. "Don't pay attention to that old thunder except to see how close the storm is getting. When you see lightning, start counting real slow. When you hear the thunder, stop counting. The number is how many miles away a storm is. Do you understand? We need to know how far away that storm is so we have time to make the cake and get it into the oven before the storm comes, or we won't be able to call it thunder cake." So if you see lightning, if you start counting very slowly, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, you'll be able to see how far away a storm is. So they're going to make a thunder cake, but it all needs to be done before the storm hits. And look at that beautiful picture of Patricia as a little girl and her grandma. Her eyes surveyed the black clouds away off in the distance. Then she walked into the kitchen. Her worn hands pulled down a thick book from the shelf above the wood stove. "Let's find that recipe, child," she said. "Here it is, thunder cake." She carefully wrote the ingredients on a piece of paper. "Now let's gather all the things we need," she exclaimed and scurried towards the back door. We were by the barn door when a huge bolt of lightning flashed. I started counting just like Grandma told me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The thunder roared. 10 miles, it's 10 miles away, Grandma said. "That's about an hour, I'd say. You'll have to hurry up, child. The storm's coming and we need to get those eggs." Eggs from mean old Nellie Peckhen. I was scared and I knew she would try to peck me. So there she is. "I'm here, she won't hurt you," said Grandma. "Just go get them eggs." I walked over. The lightning flashed again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I counted 9 miles, said Grandma. So you need to get moving. So she got her eggs. Milk was next. Milk from the old kick cow. She must have been a mean cow if they called her the kick cow. As Grandma milked her, kick cow turned and looked mean right at me. I was scared. She looked so big. Zip went the lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I counted. Boom went the thunder. 8 miles, child, Grandma croaked. Now we have to get the chocolate and sugar and flour from the dry shed. So a dry shed is a spot where they would put all their ingredients that wouldn't fit in the house maybe. I was scared as we walked on the path from the front door of the farmhouse through the tanglewood weeds, right to the dry shed. Suddenly the lightning lit up the sky again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boom, ba-boom sounded the thunder. It startled me and scared me a lot, but I kept walking along with my grandma. She seems pretty brave to me. Another jagged edge of lightning flashed as I crept into the dry shed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I counted. Crackle, crackle, boom, kaboom! The thunder bellowed. It was dark and I was scared. I'm here, child, Grandma said. Come on, hurry up. We've got everything we need, but the final secret ingredient. 3 overripe tomatoes and some strawberries, Grandma said. I was thinking in my head, tomatoes in a cake? I climbed up the high trellis. This is a trellis. It's where plants grow. The ground looked a long way down and I was scared. I'm here, child, she said. You won't fall. I reached 3 luscious tomatoes while she picked the strawberries. Lightning again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I counted. Kabang! Boom! The thunder growled. We hurried back to the house in the warm kitchen and we measured the ingredients. I poured them into a mixing bowl while Grandma mixed. I churned butter for the frosting and melted chocolate. Finally, we poured the butter into cake pans and put them in the oven together. Lightning lit up the kitchen. I only counted to 3 and the thunder rumbled and crashed. 3 miles away, said Grandma, and the cake is in the oven. We did it. We have a real Thundercake. So think, they got all the ingredients. They went and got the eggs from the hen. They got the milk from the cow. They went into the woods and got all the dry ingredients. They got tomatoes. They got strawberries. And now there's the cake going into the oven. As we waited for the cake, Grandma looked out the window for a long time. Why aren't you afraid of thunder? You're so brave, she said, and she looked right at me. I'm not brave, Grandma, I said. I was under the bed, remember? But you came out from under the bed, she said, and you got eggs from mean old Nellie Peckhen, and you got milk from the old kick cow, and we went through the tangleweed woods to the dry shed. You climbed the trellis in the barnyard. From where I sit, you're a very brave person, and only a brave person could have done those things. So she's making her feel good. She told her all those things you did were extremely brave. I love how they're working together. I thought and thought as the storm rumbled closer. She was right. I was brave. Brave people can't be afraid of a sound, child, she said, as we spread out the tablecloth and set the table. When we were done, we hurried into the kitchen to take the cake out of the oven. After the cake had cooled, we frosted it. Just then, the lightning flashed, and this time it lit up the whole sky. Even before the last flash had faded, the thunder rolled and roared and crashed and boomed just above us. The storm was here. Perfect, Grandma said, just perfect. She beamed as she put the last strawberry and the glistening chocolate frosting on top of the thunder cake. So look at that beautiful cake. They made that before the storm hit. As rain poured down on our roof, Grandma cut a big wedge for each of us. She poured some steamy cups of tea from the samovar. That's where they got the tea from. I think it was on the other page. I'll show you in a minute. When the thunder roared above us, it was so hard it shook the windows of the house and rattled the dishes in the cupboards. We just smiled and ate our thunder cake. From that time on, I never feared the voice or the sound of thunder again. So this is, let me go back a page. This is called a samovar, and it makes tea. So her grandmother made special tea for them to have. So we'll go back to the page where they had their cake. They were eating it together, and look, on the last page, there's a recipe for chocolate thunder cake. So I wish we were at school so I could make this with you, but hopefully someday we will get to make that. So friends, I want you to think of this story about Thundercake. It's one of my favorite. I love thunderstorms. Now, I know it's a special holiday weekend, so I have one task for you to do. All I want you to do is tell somebody the story of Thundercake. I want you to summarize it. So find your mom, your dad, your grandma, your cousin, your brother, your sister, whoever you want, and I want you to tell them the story of Thundercake. Don't forget to talk about the brave little girl and how she was scared of the thunder. Make sure you tell them how she counted and all those things she got. The eggs, the milk, the butter, and the flour from the shed, the tomatoes, and the strawberries. So friends, I hope you have a great, happy Memorial Day weekend. Make sure you tell someone your story, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.